What's up, Isaiah? How you doing?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Pretty good. I guess just kind of take us through. Um, you guys played Georgia Tech, and Coach Forbes even mentioned that it just wasn't a great showing, but then you're able to kind of turn that into two solid performances, especially early going against Virginia and Duke. And I just wonder what went into that, and what was that like for the team to be able to kind of make that adjustment and play those two teams tight.
I think the first thing was thinking like next play, next game, the Georgia Tech game was behind us, and we didn't want to really look at a lot of the bad things, but look at the good things that we could build on. We did that first, and then secondly, just kind of getting our offense and defense a little bit more aggressive, playing a little bit faster with more pace. And I think that we did that a really good job of moving the ball, being really, really unselfish, getting the ball moving against Virginia and Duke, and we're in those games. So we're getting there. We're building those blocks. Like we're right there, about to turn that corner. And I think this next game coming on Wednesday, I think this is going to be the game where we're going to really turn that corner and become that team that we push ourselves to be every single day in practice.
I know you guys were probably in some games last year where the score was tight at some point, but I wonder, just to start off ACC like that, was that fun? What's that been like for the team to kind of see that?
I mean, it's been great just coming back into ACC play and going into those games with a fresh new team and being really close in those games. And I think we're getting better and better each day. And just knowing that we're right there, like we can compete with all these ranked teams that are highly ranked and guys who got teams who are in the top 25. Like we know we can compete with them if we're in those games really close. So once we finish those games out, I think we can be in that talk as well.
Hey Isaiah, how do you personally grade your game so far in ACC play, and what do you think are some growth opportunities for you?
I think from the first maybe 2-3 games to now, I think I began to know who I am. Like obviously my three ball hasn't been falling like that, and I know I can shoot the three, but I haven't really been forcing it. Only shooting shots where I know I'm open, I know I have confidence, my feet are ready, and I can shoot the three. But then also this calming down and letting the offense run its course. Like I know I'm gonna have a lot of mismatch situations when guards switch out on me and I can take advantage of the post. But I've just really slowed down and let my teammates work and they get me the ball. And I think just more being very, very active on the offensive glass and just doing a lot of things, being all over the court. And I think my game has definitely taken a big jump from where it was last year, and I still have way more to go improve. So my teammates do a great job of getting me the ball, and I think that's what I have to do every single day coming out on the court, is just be as unselfish as possible.
Isaiah, how much has Coach Forbes and the coaching staff stressed to you guys the importance of playing 40 minutes instead of 32 in the last, 48 to 72 hours?
I don't know how many times he said it, but I probably counted in the past 48 hours, probably like at least 20 times. He's just stressed that like we're getting there. Like every single game, we add a minute, we add a minute, we add a minute. Like we have to get to that point where we're playing 40 minutes, but every single day we're getting better and better. And I think when we get to that point where we get that 40-minute game in, it's going to be consistent throughout the rest of the season.
Isaiah, I mean, you guys are, you've been around Coach Forbes, for those of you who were around last year, for, a few months now, but still only 6 games in. What is there still a learning curve with just knowing exactly what he wants from you during a game, or is that pounded into you pretty good at this point?
Nah, we've been here since July. He's pounded it to us every single day in practice about what he wants. And I think it's more so like he knows that we're going to make mistakes in games. Like that's the game of basketball. You're not going to go a perfect game where you're going to hit every single shot, make every single great defensive play. Like there's going to be mistakes, but he never wants you to ever not play as hard as you can and be as tough as you can every single time you come on the court. Like that's what he preaches every single day. Like play as hard as you can, and the things that you can control, like rebounding, getting on the floor, doing all those effort plays, is something that he pounds into us every single day. So we're not going to have the best shooting days. Sometimes we're going to make, mistakes on defense. But if we're going to play hard every single day, he's going to be, okay with what it is. But obviously the outcome, he wants to win, obviously. But, every single day he wants us to play hard and give our effort every single day, 100%.
Isaiah, with Odie being really the only true low post player that you guys have at this point, how important is it to do what you can to help him avoid foul trouble and that kind of thing?
Definitely as a veteran, if say he catches the early one, try to switch out and guard the big a little bit earlier in the game, because he's a vital piece for us. He creates offense and he creates activity in the paint on both ends, rebounding, grabbing offensive rebounds or just being able to finish around the rim. So being able to talk to him mid-game, like, hey, like you got the first early one, say, oh, we'll switch out, I'll take the big. And just kind of talking to him about, when different ways that he's playing, ball screen defense, not to be too aggressive, but when you're aggressive, like make sure you have your hands out, not being too handsy. So just being that veteran guy on the court and being able to talk to him throughout the game, because when you get in the heat of a battle, sometimes you just, you get all foggy. So being able to clear his mind and say, hey, like you're good, like I'll switch out. It's not because you can't guard him. It's like, yo, we need you in the game.
Is that kind of a difficult balance for him to strike because he is so active, and like that's one of the things that makes him a good player is that he's everywhere. He's bouncing all over the floor. So there's kind of, you got to thread the needle with him, right?
Yeah, a little bit, because I was like that too. Freshman year, like I was just super excited to play, like bouncing around all the time, getting crazy fouls, like just doing all those types, because I was just so aggressive and active. But he's getting better slowing down. Like that's what I've always told him is like, yo, just slow down, take your time. Like once you get that, like nobody's gonna take that ball out of your hands. You're strong. You put on weight, you gain weight, you gotten stronger. So just take your time on both ends of the floor, defensively and offensively. Just take your time, slow down, and let the game, just go through your head. And he's been doing a really good job. Georgia Tech, he played well. Past 2 games, he's been playing outstanding. So we need him to continue to just slow down and be who he is, which is super active, but also being smart.
Yeah, Isaiah, when Coach Forbes has talked to us the last 2 to 3 days, he's talked a lot about 50-50 balls and rebounding. When you guys reviewed the tape from the Duke game, were you able to see that on tape? Did you see verifiable evidence of a need to get after those 50-50 balls a little bit more?
Yeah, I mean, we saw plays where there were game-changing plays, like 50-50 balls that created into and one opportunities for them, which gave them a push and that spark of energy, right? Games where we're like really close to 44-44, loose ball happens, they get an and one. Now they get the spark of energy. We miss a shot, they get a layup on the other end. Like those are the little plays that he really harps on. It's not because like, hey, like if they get it, they might score, they might not. It's like, yo, these can be game-changing plays. And he always like talks about like when you go for a 50-50 ball, imagine it being like the last play of the game where if you don't get it, you lose. Like every single time we talk about that. So he really emphasized it. When we watched the film, we saw that if we get all those 50-50 balls off offensive rebounds and defensive rebounds, we win the game. Or we're close and it's a really tight game and they got to win on a buzzer beater. So he definitely emphasized that this past week in practice, and I think it's ingrained in our head for sure now.
Isaiah, you're talking about, kind of gauging when and when not to shoot the 3 ball for yourself. And I can remember when we talked in the preseason, you're talking about how Coach Forbes was trying to teach you guys, to kind of look at what you can do well, look at what you can't do well, and adjust your game, like play to your strengths. I wonder what's that like, you're in the middle of the season at this point. What's it like to try to keep those adjustments in mind, but also not overthink and kind of clutter up your game at the same time?
I mean, like you go to what's working. Like I think I'm shooting like 60% or like high 50s from the 2. So why would I stop getting to the rim? Like nobody's stopping me. Like if I can get to the rim and hit those pull-ups and layups, like I'm gonna continue to do it until somebody stops me, right? I know I can shoot the 3 ball. I'm never gonna lose confidence, and that coaching staff is never gonna lose confidence in me because I've proved that I can shoot it. But I mean, if you're gonna let me go to the rim, I'm just gonna go lay the ball out. So I'm gonna keep going to what's working and obviously continue to be confident in my 3-point game. But if I have an open lane to go dunk the ball, put it in the rim, like I'm gonna do it. Take advantage of the mismatches, because I think I put on a lot of weight and I've gotten a lot stronger being able to finish through contact, get into those small areas that I couldn't the last 2 years, and just continue to do what I'm doing. And once the 3 ball falls, I think my game will collectively become a lot better. So continue to do everything that I've been doing now and stay confident in myself.
Speaking of going to the rim, how is Davian able to get those twisting, contorted finishes, and how does he make so many of them?
I don't even know. Sometimes he goes in there and he goes up and under, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Run back on defense, give him a little pat on the back. But he's super creative. Like we have a bunch of guards, Carter, Jacoby, Davian, who are super creative down in that paint and are getting better and better and being super confident at, making reads. And now every time if you get to open lane, like knowing that, hey, somebody might come over to try to contest it and playing on 2 feet and being able to pass it out. So every single day they've been getting better and better in practice of being those guards that we need to, compete at that high level on the court with guys in the ACC.
Anything else for Zach? All right, thanks, guys.
Hey, Carter, how's it going?
Going well. How about you?
Doing well. What's the biggest thing you've learned through your first 3 ACC games? What have you come away with the most?
I mean, a lot of it's just being locked in for 40 minutes. To be able to really win games in the ACC, you need to play 40 minutes. Probably the biggest adjustment has just been the length, with a lot of passes and stuff, adjusting to that. But I mean, for the most part, I think it's been a pretty good transition.
Carter, was playing 3 games in the span of a week to start your ACC career. Was that kind of good in a way because it didn't give you a chance to really soak it in as much as you just had to go from one game to the next?
Yeah, no, I was glad we had 3 in a week. So we went to Georgia Tech, and then we didn't really have a great game, but you're looking forward. After a loss is behind you, games behind you, bad game, whatever. You got 2 nights, and you get a chance to do it again, and just keep getting better.
Do you? I mean, I know what I've seen on the court, but do you feel like your performance got better from game to game?
Yeah, no, it just feels like I feel comfortable now, which I mean I have most of it, but there's times where it's kind of iffy, especially the Georgia Tech game. But Virginia and Duke, they felt good, and I think our team's getting better, and I'm getting better too.
I don't want you to tell me that it was easy, but are you more comfortable than you thought you would be?
Yeah, honestly, not in a bad way, but I thought it would be a little more challenging, somewhat, yeah.
You're kind of talking about this a little bit, but have you gotten to, I don't know, enjoy or appreciate? I know you're not playing in front of big crowds, and this isn't really what ACC basketball normally looks like. But have you gotten to just kind of appreciate it and enjoy it so far?
Sometimes I'll just be sitting down wherever, and I'll think it's been said a lot, but 3 weeks ago I was just at home, and now I'm really playing in these games on TV, which is crazy, but I haven't really had a chance to really soak it all in.
When do you think you'll get that chance?
I have no clue. Maybe when the season's over, when we have a break. I honestly don't know.
Yeah, I mean, basically March or April.
Yeah, something like that.
Carter, you've got a different set of kind of friends right now than you did a month ago. I mean, how much contact do you still have with your high school buddies, and what are they talking to you about? And are they kind of oh, you're a big man on campus now and all that kind of stuff? How are you handling both groups of friends?
I mean, it's been good. I still talk to all my friends that I'm close with in Raleigh and stuff. And I mean, coming here, it's all these dudes are older, but they've been great just helping me, and we hang out off the court and stuff. So it's been good. But then my friends back home, I think in the Duke game, they put up a picture of us from our homecoming 3 weeks ago or 3 months ago, which was kind of funny, but no, it's been good.
Carter, what's been the biggest adjustment for you off the court?
Right now, since nobody's here, we're not really in classes. It's really just basketball camp, pretty much is what it feels like. So I think when school starts is when more adjustments will happen off the court. What need to be made.
How much do you think that's benefited your game that you just had basketball for the most part?
It's nice. For me coming in like this, having that month to just adjust, focus on the basketball part, and then when class starts, I'll have had this month, and I think it's the way it works out, it's good.
kind of piggybacking off that, on the court, what's been the biggest change for you going from high school and AAU to playing for Coach Forbes? What have you been completely plug and play, or has he helped change your game in some ways already?
Oh, the biggest thing for me has just been defensively, just being locked in the whole time. And I think most high school players, just like that's a big adjustment in general, because in high school you don't really need to play defense as much like you do in college. And then, I mean, offensively, just like jumping off of 1 foot and finishing just doesn't really work as well in college unless you're just a freak athlete. So getting to 2 feet in the lane and stuff like that.
I know you're pretty accustomed to scoring some pretty high numbers in high school, but as far as like your passing skills go, it's pretty noticeable when you're on the court and how it affects the offense. But like, when do you, I don't know, was there like a time in your life where you were like, I really enjoy this part of the game? Has that just kind of always been a natural thing for you? Where did that come from?
It's honestly just like since I've played basketball, I've always had like a, pretty good sense just at point guard, seeing the floor and stuff. And then I would say like middle school, I started throwing like a lot of, behind the back passes, stuff like that. And I always kind of balanced scoring and passing, but I've always enjoyed just passing since like middle school.
Coach Forbes mentioned, like in some instances, the turnovers that you ran into against like a Duke or somebody like that it might have just been an instance of a guy just being a little stronger than you at this point in time. Is there a part of you that like you recognize those plays and you're kind of thinking like, you should wait until I get some time under my belt, or I guess, how do you kind of think about that?
I mean, most of my turnovers I think are just preventable, and I think a lot of it's just the adjustment, not necessarily the wait for another year. I think just as the season progresses, I just need to keep cutting them down, and but I'll be excited to play some of these teams again the second time.
Anything else for Carter?
Carter, I know you haven't been around Davian that much, but what kind of skill do you think it takes to get his like twisting, contorting finishes in the lane where he's like going 3 different directions? It seems like, is that something that you've thought about?
Yeah, he just has a way of getting in there and just like getting it up and making it. The way he just comes off, like gets in the lane, and no, it's like pretty cool that how he can do that. It's hard to do.
Did he do that early against you in any practices, or you had to kind of take a step back and say like, all right?
Yeah, he does he does what he does in games and practices, and he's a really good finisher. So yeah.
Thanks, Carter.
Anything else?